Hello and welcome to Base Creative's video series, Success Through Lockdown, where each week I look far and wide for some of the more unsung entrepreneurial superheroes who've overcome lockdown and are ready to share their ideas with me. 2 months ago, I posted on LinkedIn about how companies big and small were helping in the fight to tackle coronavirus. And as the fight continues, the conversation is beginning to shift. Many businesses are now asking, how can we survive the lockdown? I'm inspired to see some small businesses changing, adapting and ultimately pivoting to stay relevant. Some becoming more successful than pre-lockdown. But not everyone has a great idea or key innovation up their sleeve. Well, not yet. Okay, let me introduce you to Mike McGrail from GetGo Studios and from Velocity. Mike, hi, how are you? How are you doing?
Good, thanks, Ian. Thanks for having me on today.
I'm very, very pleased that you could join us. So quick 30 seconds, maybe 60 seconds about what GetGo and Velocity do, and in particular who your clients are, who you work with.
Yeah, so I've got two things. Velocity Digital, which is my digital marketing consultancy, very much focused on social media and content marketing. I started working in social in 2008, and I've been running Velocity for the last 8 years. That ranges client base wise from a lot of drinks and spirits brands right through to a lot of tech startups, very varied. And then GetGo Studio is just about a year and a half old now, and that is my video marketing agency. So I've taken all that marketing experience and tried to channel it into one form of content. And we handle everything from the ideation, the production, to the filming, and then to the marketing campaigns for those videos themselves. And that's been interesting in the last 18 months because it's finding its feet client base wise. We've done loads in the tech sector and loads in the renewable energy sector. So that's my two things that really keep me very busy.
Okay, so video tended to be sort of live shot video, people, either that or talking heads, or ultimately video that require people to be out and about.
A huge part of last year was spent literally driving up and down the UK. We were either filming interviews or we were filming people out doing things, solar farms, offshore energy, all that type of thing. So very much a real world, tangible business where we have to be around people and we have to be traveling.
So what was the first thing then that came into your head when the government announced lockdown, that we all had to get out of our offices and work from home for the foreseeable future? How did that affect GetGo?
I mean, as soon as that happened, I knew that things were going to get very bad for GetGo. Over the summer period, I had 16 jobs booked in all across the UK.
Wow.
So very busy and serious revenue generation there. And within 48 hours of the lockdown announcement, every single one was cancelled. In fact, it was before the lockdown announcement. It was when it was all kind of kicking off with in the States and Trump, and then you could just tell the economy was going to start faltering big time, and clients just started dropping off, bang, bang, bang. And yeah, 48 hours later, all future revenue for GetGo was off the table.
So, sometimes when we're looking forward to calls or clients are getting in contact, you must have been dreading the next time the phone was ringing.
It was literally either the phone was ringing or an email was coming in and the subject line in my inbox was cancellation. And it was like, because that was 7 different clients for those jobs. And I knew as soon as the second one came in, I knew what was coming.
Yeah.
And I was scrambling, trying to think, how could we potentially fulfill some of this business? And my approach to that was we could do a lot of the pre-production and all the planning and everything, but it wasn't even an option. It was literally like, you're getting no budget, we're done until this blows over. So there was just nothing I could do to save that scenario, unfortunately.
And I spotted a post on LinkedIn, I think it was, where you had mentioned about this happening. And at a time, I remember thinking, that that's authentic. That's saying to the world, this is a problem and it's affecting me in a truly and quite deep way.
Yeah.
What spurred you to publish that then, and to just be so honest about how this was affecting?
The
Yeah.
marketing for both of my businesses has always been very much driven by me. I'm not a massive fan of the personal brand name, but I've always tried to be very visible, particularly within LinkedIn. I always try and be very authentic and straight talking. And I think because I've always done that, when I took the decision to say this has gotten very, very bad for me, um, it was an okay thing for me to do because people weren't like, oh, Mike's just, playing the violins.
Yeah.
And I think the response to it shows that. And that has led to a lot of the recovery that's been taking place for my businesses in the last few weeks. I just felt like it was something that actually might help people a little bit as well, to say, look, this is bad and I'm not feeling great about it. And again, a lot of the comments said, well done for doing this. You've actually made me feel a little bit better about going out there and saying, how can we do this? But I also followed that up with some videos and some sort of rallying calls. And I said, how can we all help each other to maybe get some revenue circulated? How can we help? And some people did collaborate and things off the back of that. So I wasn't just going me, but that was definitely, I had to, because my wife and I, we've got 3 young kids, and it's a scary time for so many people, regardless of, it's all relative to everyone. So yeah, it was a big step to take, but I think it was worthwhile.
So you mentioned that you're the face of GetGo and of Velocity, and that's a big thing. And being authentic is a huge thing, and that has now definitely come back to assist you when you've been equally as honest and authentic in saying that things are terrible. And you mentioned just to me a few minutes ago 16 clients and retain a big heap of revenue that just in the matter of 48 hours was gone. But sticking to the principles of being authentic has ultimately ended up working out well. Has there been any change in how you've gone about other marketing activity since lockdown, or due directly because of lockdown? What have you changed in that area?
Yeah, so if we take GetGo specifically, I think there was the shock of losing all that, and then there was the realization that perhaps I just need to try and think of some ways of still providing a service. So one thing I did was launch the GetGo show, which was a bunch of 4 or 5 episodes, and it is going to come back in the future, live interviews with people. One was about resilience, one was about confidence. So the whole idea with that was create some content featuring great people that can help people at this time. But the business angle on that was that actually I could, in the background, produce that type of thing for people. So if somebody wanted to record a video interview, and I can edit it, add backing tracks, package it up and get it out there. And that show led to 2 clients coming my way on that front. So 2 companies wanting to launch audio podcasts and came to me and said, Mike, perhaps you could do this for us. And that's one of the things I've been working away on in the last 2 weeks for 2 businesses. So that was a change of, that was almost creating a service that hadn't been offered before just to suit these times.
Right. And that I think is the crux of it, because you're the innovation there, and the kind of pivot is that creating and editing, being part of post-production for podcasts is something you didn't think you were going to be doing, and now has actually been maybe not the hero of what GetGo is, or maybe it is, and that's enabled you to keep on going and service clients in a different way.
That's it. I mean, the skills are in me because it's not that different to editing video, but there was a few things that I had to learn, and I just made sure I did that. It's GetGo's only revenue right now, to be honest. The savior, the real savior for me, has been Velocity Digital and all the years I've spent building a reputation in that area.
Yeah.
Because a couple of companies approached me, one of which I'm effectively acting as the outsourced marketing director. So they're one of the success stories of this time. They're actually really thriving, and they're looking to build their first dedicated marketing team.
Okay.
So I'm driving the marketing internally right now for them, but also helping them hire 4 people. So that's been brilliant. That's been 20 hours a week of my time, and that's been a huge one. And then there's been some other odds and ends, strategic work on the marketing side of things that have been big. Because if it hadn't been for that, honestly, I don't know what scenario I'd be in right now. It would be pretty drastic, to be honest.
So with the podcasting and the audio editing, that sounds like something that you're going to keep when we do come out of lockdown. Then, so that's positive.
It is, yeah, and that is a revenue stream for the future. And I literally had an email about half an hour before you rang me, someone else wanting the similar service. So the word's out there clearly.
Yeah.
I'm just waiting to have all the finished products to then start using that as the proof to say GetGo can do this for you. I think it's important also that both GetGo and Velocity are just me, and I work with really talented freelancers.
Mm-hmm.
So the podcasting stuff, for example, I will start, if the business requires it, I'll start to use my external trusted kind of associates to help me produce some of that stuff as well. And I've been quite keen to, because although I'm not an employer, there were some freelancers that made over £30,000 through my businesses last year, and that's all dried up for all of them as well. So I was really keen to try and think, yeah, okay, at this time, I do need to look after number one and my family, but I want these people not to feel abandoned by GetGo. So I've been keeping in touch with people, and then it's starting to look like there's some work on the horizon. One thing we can do for GetGo is, as the lockdown gets eased, we can actually go and film and do it in a social distance way.
Yeah.
They've been doing it on the news. But the problem is, a lot of what we do is go into people's offices and capture them all working and hustling and bustling. That isn't going to happen again. So the future's looking a lot better, but it's going to be very changed business. And I think video production in general is facing a massive change, like loads of industries and sectors are.
I think it's one thing to have the capability to do it, as you've mentioned, you can do it in a social distancing way. It's another thing to convince clients that you can achieve that and still get the results. So
yeah.
Are you doing anything that's demonstrating how it's possible to do filming it in the real world, but keep social distancing in place?
I've got a plan, because I'm based in Scotland and we're a little bit behind England in the lockdown measures. So just this week we'll be allowed to do the meeting one person, meeting another household type thing. My plan is, once we're in there, is to try and get together with one of my camera guys, one of my freelance guys, and film something to say, look, we can actually do this. But it's still not going to be the same. So I could be facing up to the fact that that's just not going to happen. And then that's the point in time where I say, look, that's in the future.
Mm-hmm.
We do a lot of 3D animation and motion graphics work as well, and I'm starting to push that more. We've been doing like YouTube bumper ads and things like that for e-commerce companies. It's not my preference. That's not actually what the business is meant to do, but it's kind of like, do what you can right now.
Yeah, with different ways of innovating, keeping things going. I think that's most important of all.
Yeah.
For the last couple of months, and probably for the next couple as well. And one question I'm keen to find out the answer to as well, which is what advice would you have given yourself back in March? Now you could go back, just before lockdown, but when we knew about coronavirus, what advice would you give yourself back in early March?
Great question. I think there was a period where, and it was probably during that period where I was going out there and saying, oh, this is really bad, this is really bad. I probably could have acted quicker to come up with ways of galvanizing during this time and pivoting the services. It's easy to say that with hindsight, because that was such a shock to everyone, and mentally. So you just weren't thinking straight. And I'm not 100% brain capacity right now. I don't think anyone is. It's just, not to mention the crazy dreams everybody seems to be having every night. But yeah, I think it would have just been, innovate faster. But everybody always wants to innovate faster. I don't think there's anything I did massively wrong, because so much of it was just out of everyone's hands. So yeah, it was just maybe of gotten the message out there that, yep, things have got really bad, I'm available, but then start to think of the solutions faster and just push those out there. That's been a bit of a slow burn. So yeah, just react faster, I guess.
React faster. Hopefully there'll be a magic pill one day. We can all take one that would allow us to do that.
Yeah.
Brilliant. I appreciate your time today, Mike, and being on our video series Success Through Lockdown. Thank you very much. I'll make sure the details are on the screen. It's getgo.studio for the web address to get in touch with you. Is that right?
That's it, getgo.studio, and it's GetGo Studio on pretty much every social media as well. And if you want to catch me on LinkedIn, more than happy to connect. I'm pretty active over there, Mike McGrail. And yeah, but thanks for having me on, and I hope everybody gets through this time, and yeah, keep pushing on.
Brilliant. Thanks again, Mike.
No worries.
And remember, if you've got a great idea or you've done something pretty spectacular to stay relevant and to stay afloat through lockdown, I would love to find out. You can get in touch with me, you can write me a personal email. All my details and social media contacts are going to be on the screen in 2 seconds time. Thanks for watching.